Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another live stream today. I hope you got your seatbelts on, your extra popcorn ready for this one. Today we welcome the one and only Marc from the Robes08 channel, aka the Robes Father, aka the Fragrance Guru. Welcome to my channel, brother. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, Ram. Appreciate it. Looks like you're going to hit 10K shortly.
I know. That's probably thanks to you. I was like 250 subscribers away. Now I'm almost there. So I appreciate the shout out and kind words. And honestly, truly, man, it's really an honor to have you on. And yesterday, if you go, or 2 days ago, actually, if you go back and watch that live stream I did from a couple days ago where you hopped on and said your ears were ringing, we actually had the exact same scent of the day. We both had Queer Canage as our scent of the day. And if you think about the size of my collection, your collection, the odds of that happening have to be like 0.01%. I think the fragrance gods were trying to send us a sign. So seriously, 100%. Man, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. Someone in the comments said, we're going to make fragcom great again. I know this is a little bit of a leading question, but what do you make of the state of fragcom?
Well, you know what, Ram? Contrary to what I said in my video, the fragrance community is in good hands because there is people like you, right? There is quite a bit of new people popping up every day. So that little portion of the fragrance community that I spotlighted, there's some negativity there, of course, from me, but at the same time, there is a spotlight. Like that video shows you, like if I got, right, like, a whole bunch of negative comments, things like that, then I'd be like, holy shit, right? I'm alone in this. And maybe that was just my own ignorance, that I was just, I didn't see the community at that point. I don't know. So I don't know. I feel like there's good people. You just got to dig. And, that was the one part that when I was around, there was no digging. There was like 10 of us, 5 of us. So it was a small group, and there was no free bottles, which is fine. And there was self-discovery, right? There was discovery of brands, and we just, it was exciting because there was like, if you put yourself in my shoes, when I first started, there was no niche reviews on YouTube. Zero. Like Le Male, I was the first one to review it. Chergui, I was the first one to discover it. Mascaravajad, I was the first one to point it out. Like, just think about that on YouTube. And now, right? And it's unfortunate, like some of those great scents are being ignored. Like that's the one thing that kind of irks me, is just like nobody's discovering. It's all new releases pushing and all that. But at the same time, there's people like yourself, and there's EC Smells Good, there's Pep, right? And there's countless others. There's a huge group. And I know that the community, as I know it, is dead, which is not a bad thing, right? It's now more separated into little subgroups, and that was eventually going to happen. I understand that. So there's this little subgroup that I think has a lot of potential, and that's why I'm still in here, right? I'm still here, but I enjoy it, right? That's the reason I do it. Somebody pointed out, trying to tell me that my views are low. Well, yeah, you point out the last 20 reviews that I did. They're not reviews, they're unboxings. I'm not stupid. When you put unboxing in a title, no one's going to watch it. If they don't know me, they're not going to watch it because they think it's just an unboxing. There's going to be no content in there. So I know how it works, but no, there's still some good people doing what they do and what they love, right? So yeah, the community is not as gloom and doom as that video portrayed, we'll say. That was just a point to make.
Yes, and I would like to see some of those reviewers that you called out, instead of just going with Saharoff and these brands that are giving them the free bottles. I would like to see more Chanel's on their shelf, more old Guerlains, you know, more Serge Lutens, like you said. I would like to see more discovery from those people on their own instead of just what's being sent to them, because that's what this is all about. It's a journey of discovery, understanding the past, seeing what you love, you know, making connections, researching perfumers and all that stuff. And if you only go off of what they send you for free, I feel like you could miss a pretty large subsection, which they are. I think there's a big blind spot there. So
yeah, but a lot of them don't want to discover. We'll be honest. We'll call a spade, right, Ram? Right? They're here for a reason.
Yep, for sure. I mean, your video kind of felt like it rang the dinner bell on shill hunting season, but I'm kind of curious to hear your take. So in a perfect world, what response would you like to see? Like, what actionable steps from fragcom would kind of make you say, okay, I'm making some progress here?
I think it's basically the hope is with the smaller fragrance heads, right? Those big channels, they're not going to change. They're not going to respond to me. They shouldn't. Why? Why would you, right? That wasn't the intent. The intent was for new people within our community. And I know I've gotten those comments that people were saying, well, isn't this, we've known this for several years. Yeah, you do. You know, you've been around the block. You know, once you start digging into this rabbit hole of YouTube, you're going to start going from place to place, and then you'll start finding out that things aren't what it seems. But some people, it takes longer than others. So that was really the intent of it, is just to, and I think the smaller channels, a lot of them are in a crossroad, right? Do I accept this PR stuff that I'm getting sent, or do I stay a path? And there's two paths. There's no right or wrong, right? But it's the way that you take the free bottles and the PR and where you're going to go with that. So hopefully that video is a stepping stone to those newer channels to go, okay, maybe I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to take PR, but I'm actually going to talk to that brand and go, look, I'm not going to accept your PR if you're going to tell me that I have to say 10 out of 10. There's no problem saying, you know, this is a freshie. Sure, I'll say that in the video. But my rating's mine. My thoughts are mine. You send me something like that. That was my golden rule all the time. You send me something, it's going on the channel, 100%. There's no hiding. And you don't know what you're going to get from me. That is the golden rule. You're going to get the good with the bad.
Well, that's how it should be. I mean, on the other hand, you had folks like Russian Adam who have come out and said, we want more real feedback to a creator. It's a bad thing when all you hear about is, oh, you're the best, you know, you're modern day Michelangelo. All they hear are cheers and hurrahs. They don't get the other side. So it's hard for them as a creator to kind of adapt and get some real feedback. So I think some of these brands yearn for that. It's just so hard to find. Like you said, very few channels nowadays do negative reviews at all because they're worried about being cut off. They're worried about being ostracized, you know, and that shouldn't be the case.
Yep. No, exactly.
I mean, I did feel like your video got an overwhelming, I would say, amount of response. I think, you know, a lot of folks said, thank God somebody with some credentials did this type of video. Can you give us any follow-up? Are there any future videos to come? Is this going to turn into a series?
It might. You know, it is, there's, how can I say it? I do enjoy the feedback that I got. And there's a lot of feedback that a lot of you don't see, that there were smaller content creators. And I mean, a lot of them, and they didn't go on YouTube. They went on Instagram and stuff like that and DM'd me and said, I'm at a crossroad. They actually said that. They said, this brand is sending me this. What do you think? And that's what I'm here for. Like, I'll help you out. I'll guide you. I'll tell you what I think I would do. You know, I'm not going to hold your hand, but I'm going to, you know, help you with the 10 plus years that I've had on this platform, that I've received, I keep, surprisingly, I keep receiving those emails. Like some brands don't, I guess their people don't look at what I do.
Same.
But yeah,
I've gotten
yeah.
same. I mean, it's the same. I've gotten an email from a brand, I won't say who, and I give them the response I always give, which is, you can send me anything, but whatever I'm going to put up on the channel is my own opinion. And the girl who sent me the email said, okay, thank you. Never heard back from them. And then 3 or 4 months later, I got another email, same brand, maybe like someone new took their shoes, same email, said the same thing, same response. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No, but that's the game now. That is definitely the game now. So let me ask you this, like as a follow-up, was there maybe like something egregious that pushed you over the edge to do that type of video? Because I think a lot of folks, like you said, knew it in the background, but you took the next step of maybe like pointing the finger, kind of really focusing on it. Was there something that you were like, man, I really feel like I got to get this out here? Or was it just something that came organically?
Honestly, it came from that fragrance bottle, that Mika F. And I usually don't do this. Like I don't do it too often for unboxings, but sometimes I go and I just see who's the talking heads that looked at this. I just wanted, just for, shits and giggles. And yeah, that got me stirred up a little bit, like 10 out of 10. After I did my review, I'm like I didn't watch their reviews, and but obviously I did after. And I put myself through that for me, first of all. Wow. And you can't even call them a reviews. They don't even talk about, the notes, the development. And that's my personal take. Like me, if I'm watching a fragrance review, let's say they're reviewing this, okay? They wouldn't review this, first of all. But anyway, if they reviewed this and they say sexy, masterpiece, 10 out of 10, magnificent. Okay.
Tells you nothing.
Right? Like, what does the lemon do in this? Is it a minor piece? Is it a big piece? Like, people call me out and say I'm a Fragrantica reviewer, and I'm like, really? Really? And that's only because I'm proud of, like, I got the essential oils. I did the work. Like, you should have seen me, Ram. Like 6 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get into the female aisle. I wanted to smell all the florals that I never smelled, right? And do the homework and
That's
work on
discovery. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything I review is just more in the Rolodex. I call it the Rolodex, right? The notes and what is Givaudan doing with oud these days, and what's the new one that they use, even though it might be shit, like you say. Yeah. So those are things, but I enjoy that. But like, if I clicked on a review, that's what I would want to see personally.
Absolutely. Well, let me take the opportunity to say, if you've been living under a rock, we have Marc from the Robes08 channel here for the very first time. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. I'll star them as we go along. We're going to catch up on the comments here in just a second. But one of the back and forths that I read, sort of the clapback from the shill community, if you want to call it that, is that their biggest grievance with you is that you were sponsored by Fragrance X. You had promo codes. So for our viewers who are newer to the game, can you kind of explain the difference between a Fragrance X package or promote, or link on your site versus kind of what they were doing?
Gladly. It's all about the content. 100%. If I'm reviewing something, you're going to get, if I do score it, it's going to go from 0 to 10 on a score. And that's it. Getting a bottle from a brand comes with a script most of the time, not all of the time. It comes with payment. And those are things that are, myself and Fragrance X, the owner is actually, the CEO is a fan of my work. And that's how I linked up with Fragrance X. Now, my link is actually just a copy paste link. I actually just go on Fragrance X and I copy and I paste it in there. for people to get it. Most of the time, the stuff's sold out anyway. It doesn't even matter. But and my code, there is no 10% or anything like that. That's for, he gives that to everybody, right? So there's no special for me. But it does show him, that's a good thing, of my influence, right?
Right.
It'll show him how many people actually use the code. That's it. I don't get a kickback. $0 off that. 100%.
Plus, when you think about it, you know, Fragrance X or fragrancebuy.ca or whoever these, you know, companies are that send these packages out, they just want the advertisement. They could honestly care less whether you say, I think L'Artisan Parfumeur Timbuktu is a masterpiece, it's mediocre, or it's shite. They don't really care about that. Like a brand might care. They want you to say, hi, I got this from Fragrance X, you know. That's the main thing. So that's kind of where I see a little bit of a difference.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. The discounters don't have there's no scripts. Now, again, I'm saying that lightly. There is some discounters that'll say, here, I'll send you this, but you really have to put it in a video, a certain video, like a top 10 video, something that it'll hit certain goals, we'll say, like 5,000 views or something like that. So you use one of your big money videos and just pop it in there. Not that I've done that. Fragrance X is simple, straightforward. Unboxings, and then I give my test drive, and I give them that link, and whatever it is, go. And I choose the fragrances I want. Sometimes I just go for ones that are cheapies. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you have a collection the size of ours, I feel like you don't really discriminate once you get to a certain point. You'll sniff anything. I mean, I've said that before. I love going everywhere. Cheapies, expensive, niche, artisanal. I think that's one of the joys of kind of discovery, if you will. When I first started early on, I started with the Amouage, the Creeds, and I kind of stayed away from the Encre Noirs and stuff like that, to my detriment. I mean, when I discovered how awesome I think Encre Noir, I mean, you know, it was like a revelation for me. Like I felt like an idiot just because I was initially staying away from it because it was $30 or something. That's when sort of the whole fragrance world opened up to me. So yeah, I would never judge a fragrance based on price. That's kind of my 2 cents. But so let me ask you this, like in what's going on in fragcom, sort of, do you think this is just kind of a natural arc? Like once Jeremy showed up and he's got 1 million, 2 million subscribers now, and he showed the world there could be maybe like a fragrance influencer / entertainer doing crazy things, smelling pizza, spinning, and asking girls which fragrance they like, dancing in his tidy whities. Like, do you think this is just a natural arc? Like now the entertainers have kind of entered the fragrance game? Or what do you make of that?
Yeah, you're spot on. He opened that door, and here we go. The floodgates are open.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
Yeah,
it does feel that way for sure. You know, it's funny because I remember early on when I had, I don't know, smaller my subscriber number is still low anyways, but I remember some folks who would kind of check out the channel for the first time. They'd be like, dude, all you talk about is fragrance. You're boring. Like, can you talk about something other than fragrance? And I'd be like, you do know this is a fragrance channel, right? It's like they expected Jerry Springer or something. So crazy. Well, let's catch up on some comments. Let's see what everyone's saying here. Like the stream for our vintage team. Thank you. Thank you, Dushan. Good to see you. The Demand Cologne. Sent to the night, Gianni Versace EDT from 81. That's the women's, right? I think I've got a mini somewhere. Vintage, you say, sent of the day is vintage Calvin Klein Obsession Cologne Spray. That's a fantastic fragrance from the past. Let's hope there is no holding back. Axel Viper. That's what they want. They want blood. They're out for blood. They're out for blood sport, Mark. Here's a super chat from Dushan. Fragcom is a tragedy for those who feel and a comedy for those who think. 2 of my favorite perfumers or perfume reviewers. So let me ask you a follow-up on this, because I know this is why a lot of people are here. What do you think are some of the telltale signs of like a channel that maybe is shilling versus a channel that has credibility? What do you look for when you're watching somebody?
The content. It'll tell you straight away. No one. I haven't seen. Red Adolescence is probably the one that was. He transferred. Can I say that word? He transferred.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's probably the closest thing that you would see that there's like a very much like a. I don't know. How can I say that? There's a little bit of old him there. Redo and I were really good friends, and he told me multiple times, he's like, the way I review was based on what you reviewed. And for me, it was Tim Sweatkoff. I don't know if anybody even knows about Tim anymore, but he did. Everybody before me used to do like little clips, right? Katie Puckrick, little clips, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, not even.
Yeah.
And then there was Cubby. That was the first reviewer. He was from Canada. 2-minute clips, like real quick, right? Like the shorts, basically. They were ahead of their time.
Shorts before shorts.
Yeah. And then there was this guy like Sweatkoff that did 10-minute reviews. It was like double, triple of what they did. Are you drinking milk? Is it milk? Okay.
Cheers.
I brought milk. Yeah.
Gotta stay strong, Mark.
The strong bones. So yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but sure.
Yeah, where were we going with that?
I don't know. I went in the past and I got lost.
We were talking about the telltale signs of being a real channel.
Yeah, the description will tell you. Like if you want to do the easy way, just go on a channel, random, right? And you'll see description. If it has more than 3 links of affiliates, you're probably looking at somebody that's trying to sell you something. 1 is fine, right? And just be cautious. Like I have the Fragrance X. Doesn't mean I'm a shill, but the content will tell you exactly. If there's no actual content, sexy, 10 out of 10. Okay, you're trying to sell me something. And everything's like that. It's just a copy paste. There's no real thought. They get so much PR, some of these guys, that there's no thought. They're not wearing it. Some of the girls don't even put it on skin. They put it on a test strip. Next video, right? And they do like 5-6 videos a day.
Yeah. I was just about to ask. So that brings up a question. Can somebody who gets free bottles be objective? And then number 2, if the reviewers are just going to spray it on a test strip and go, oh my God, this is a 24-hour fragrance after smelling it for 5 seconds. Why don't the brands just send out 5 ml decanters? They don't need a bottle. What's the point of a bottle? They're wasting a bottle. Send them a 5 or a 10 ml. That should be more than enough for a reviewer to get to know something.
You need the bottle to do this, right? You do this all the time.
Yep. You're spot on. That is a beautiful bottle, actually. I feel like I should blow you up. Look at that. Is that the one that they only gave away to members or something a decade ago? Yeah.
180. Yeah, 180 years.
That's awesome.
She's a beauty. Scent of the day.
Yes. I will tell you, our scent of the day is not the same today. I will tell you that. It is not the same today. I'm in Ensar's Tiger Lust, which I don't know if you remember Thomas from the early Greek channel. He removed all of his videos.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember Thomas. Thomas was one of my favorite reviewers. He took them all down. And he sent this to me. And I was like blown away by this. It's one of my favorite Ensars. I tried to buy a bottle and then I found the price and I was like, that's not going to happen. Ensar is quite the rabbit hole. Speaking of rabbit holes to go down, well, just the oud game in general is really a rabbit hole. But I think you would dig some of these real oud. I know you started to talk about some Bortnikovs on the channel. Have you been moving a little slowly towards the real oud direction?
I'm a slow mover. If you, I'm sure you've noticed. I dabble in everything, so it's a slow go, but at the same time, like the ones I've tested are really good, so it's kind of scary. I'm just like, I really like what I'm smelling. And again, another hit. Like I think I smelled 2, and I really like I'm on to try to get like 2 or 3 more samples, but that's kind of scary now that I want now it's full bottle, right? I don't need to test more on those. The little samples I get is good enough. I already know. So it's scary.
So here's a question from Grand Camo. What's a fragrance that perfectly describes you? Like Kinski by Kinski, or what a man should smell like, Polo Green. What's a fragrance that perfectly describes you, Mark?
I'd have to go with something that's something that's really hit me during my journey, and it would have to be Jubilation 25. It would just have to be that. Shout outs to Beltran de Chafour, by the way. Yeah, little, it was, what, when it first came out, and I don't know if, you know this, Ram, but it was a slow seller at the start. It wasn't a hit. It was not. It was actually getting panned online when it first came out. Like the first incident came out. What a journey. But that was the one that, and I think that describes me a little bit, is kind of like, it kind of gave me like that aha moment in fragrances. Like the whole fragrance game just went, holy crap, right? Then I started going into, okay, complexities. I started getting into notes way more than I ever did. I started delving into perfumiers now. So I started looking at their resumes, what they'd done in the past. And then I started looking at brands, right, in their past, right, and what they have done, and just kind of correlate that in my fragrance reviews. I think that was the aha moment. Like if you take a look at my 2009 reviews when I first started, it was just a rookie, right? It was just a guy that was just like, you know what? No one's done a Le Male review. I'm going to do it. Here it is. And I just said how I felt. But there was no real, okay, this is how I'm going to test it. Like I actually made a science out of fragrance reviewing, which is kind of crazy because it takes me forever to review anything. And that's kind of sad. I should start reviewing again. Like I don't, what I'm doing now, I don't consider anything that I've done in the past, like since my return, anything that I've done hasn't been a review.
Like a full review like you used to do, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I used to really take my time, and it's the small nuances of those testings that really makes a review a review. And I know I'm being nerdy. People call me a nerd, and yeah, I am.
I'll own up to that. I'm a fragrance nerd. Someone said that to me the other day, like it was a bad thing, and I was like, I mean, I can't really deny it. I love the history and the backstory and the connections and the houses and the perfumers. I mean, I love that stuff. If you don't love it, why are you doing this?
The best reviews are the ones that have emotion in it, moments in it.
Yep.
People say not like, oh, I got 10 compliments. No. That's BS, right? Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's the ones that say, I have a story behind this. This is like my wedding day fragrance, and this is the reason why. It transported me here, blah, blah, blah. Or we met somewhere and I was wearing this fragrance and it means a lot to me. Those are reviews that when I first started on YouTube, those are the things I was looking for. And those are the things that sold me on blind buying a Chergui, blind buying a Muscat Vajard. Like I was on a blind buying spree after a while. Everybody was telling their stories on like posts, though. It wasn't YouTube, but it was on, written things. But those are things that excited me.
I was shocked, reading some of the comments in your video. There were more people than I expected that said, I discovered you because of your last video that kind of went a little bit viral. In the fragrance community, I was shocked because, like you said, your channel's been up since 2009. That's something to be proud of, in my opinion. I mean, you're one of the OGs. Most everyone else's channels are much newer than yours, but people were still saying, "Hey, I found you because of this." Almost what some people call drama videos. So let me ask you this: how do you balance like putting out those hardcore fragrance reviews that like you and I want to watch versus the drama, which has 273 people when usually there's under 100 watching my live streams. How do you balance that, man?
Well, first of all, I'm going to get a cut of those super chats, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'll send them to you in decants.
There we go. How do you balance that? I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that, to be quite honest. Right. It's new eyes. Like my channel, I'm not an idiot. Like my channel is underground. It is. You can see that number, 50,000 subscribers. There's not 50,000 subscribers like actively on my channel. I'm not an idiot. There's probably under 5,000 that are actively watching me, maybe. And maybe there's 10,000 that are still active on YouTube and look at my stuff once in a while. They may not like unboxings. Maybe they're subscribed only for my top 10 seasonal videos, which I don't do anymore, which I probably should. But
should bring it back.
Fall's coming. That's a good list.
It's a great list.
I don't know. Top 10.
My favorite time of year.
I don't know if I can do top 10. I would have to do top 100.
You did a top 100 designer. I heard someone say you should do a top 100 niche. I did a top 100 niche. It was not easy.
Probably your most viewed video, if I'm calling it.
You're 100% right by a long shot.
Yeah,
not even by a little bit, by a long shot. And you know what's funny? I think I did that to celebrate 4,000 subscribers. So some of these channels that all of a sudden their growth goes like this, they go from like 0 to 100,000 subscribers overnight. And they don't say anything about it. Man, I mean, I've put up over 1,000 videos in the last 2.5, coming up on 3 years. And I celebrated every single 1,000 subscriber milestone. Like, that was a big deal to me, you know? So yeah, you're right. That top 100 niche video, I think got 90, 80, 85, 90,000 views. And the next closest video is like 35,000. Like, it's not even close. So yeah, you're spot on. You should do it.
Well, the reason why I said that is because my top 100 designers, my top watch, like by far too.
Yes.
That was a lot of work though.
Yes.
Oh.
It is a lot of work. It is a lot doing a top 100, especially since I don't do cuts. I got to do it all in one go. So yeah,
you and your closet in there.
No messing up. It's got to be a one shot go, you know? Like I think I think when I did it, like the internet went out or something, or for a second on 20 or 30, I'm, looking at all the stuff lined up and it went out and I was like, we're pushing through this. Like I'm not stopping it. 29 bottles left to go. So here's kind of a intellectual question I was cogitating on. Do you think there will be some blowback to some of these consumer brands that are participating, or let's call them willing participants in this free bottle sort of brigade, like the most egregious offenders? Like, do you think now that enough eyeballs are on this, do you think the consumers are going to maybe start going, you know what? Maybe I don't want to be associated with a brand that's kind of doing this type of behavior.
There will be some, but it's not. Honestly, Ram, the ball is already, it's like a snowball. The snowball is way too big now. That, our voices, it won't change anything in regards to that. The brands, the people that they deal with, nothing's going to change. I think it's more of the people that watch, well, not yourself, but watch others that may stumble upon, you or me or somebody else, and these new content creators and which lane they want to go into. It almost, and maybe that's something that pushes me a little bit, is that it feels like the little guys don't have a voice. And the little guys are kind of always getting this stuff pushed onto them. And they're like, well, that's maybe where I should go. Like I should maybe be doing what they're doing. Because I've followed some that, and again, I try to support as many as I can, but I've seen some great content creators that do have editing skills. They do have the personality. And they started off, doing their thing with their own fragrances. They started getting PR, but then eventually it turned sour. Like I see that a lot. And I've even seen some that were, they even said it in their videos. They're like, I don't know what to really, this is my thoughts. And they're kind of like wishy-washy. So they're new, right? So they don't know how to present the PR.
They got pressure from both sides. Yeah.
Exactly. But the thing is that I feel like we don't have a voice. I feel like we're a little more quiet, just because we don't have the subscriber base or the viewership, right? Like I was saying, my channel is not going to hit the algorithm. It's not, right? Unless I start doing top 10 videos every week. I know how to ramp up the algorithm. I've seen it before on my channel that I did like a top 10 seasonal, and then I hit like samples of a really popular fragrance. I'm like, oh, the spike came in. And then I did like a review of something like this, which shouldn't get any love, but the views were there just because it was on the tail end of the algorithm. And then it just dropped off the cliff. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. So you can tell how it works. And again, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but
well, here's something. I'll just piggyback on the whole, algorithm / subscriber base. I don't know if you saw this, but just maybe within the last week or so, I saw something. I think Rich Mitch sent it to me actually, about how the regulators are going to make buying subscribers and comments and views illegal. So what's going to happen is that the folks who have them will be able to keep them, but it won't be able to go on in the future. So what's funny is the ones who were buying subscribers, it's going to look like this, and then they're just going to plateau, and they're just going to
it's going to be a slow, it's going to be a slow crawl. But you can see that there's like there's a guy that's called Fragrance Lawyer, and I hope you don't mind that I name drop, but there's this guy, Fragrance Lawyer, 500,000+ subscribers, brand new. And then his comment section's like 5 comments. I'm like, well, you spent too much on your subscriber money. You should balance that out, right? The comment bots.
You need some comment money.
The comment bot money needs to go, and the like.
Yeah, 2 likes.
it was funny. There's a few fragrance heads that are trying to do that. And unfortunately, they are getting some people to watch them, and that's the stuff that's like, oh, really? Like you're a grown man, bud. Like, I don't know what I don't know, like 500K, like not real.
I think it gives them like almost credibility. Like they think if someone goes and talks to them, it's like this kind of, I don't know, like a shield they can hide behind. Like, I have 500,000 subscribers. You have to listen to me. I'm important, kind of thing. That's really the only thing I can think of, because they're not getting paid off of it. I mean, they're not getting additional money because YouTube pays off of views. But a lot
of these brands,
ad revenue.
Like I was talking to one of my discounter friends, the owner of a discounter, and I think he's I'm a different breed. He knows this, but we were talking about the people that he gives out free bottles to, and I'm not putting anything out of someone's pocket, right? But I was just saying, a lot of these have paid those. Like, you're looking at it that, oh, this person has like 100,000 subscribers. I'm like, be careful, right? You got to look at the comments, and you have to look at everything else, man, because you're sending him, 40 bottles. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you're expecting that person's going to produce the sales that the same person that actually built the 100K. It's not going to happen. Those are bots. They're not there. They're not, like, my live stream can hit, like 70 or 100 viewers, and then somebody that has 200,000 is hitting the same or less on a live stream.
That's 100%. That's a big tell. 100%.
Hello.
100%. Zank Frappe says, Robes say parfum.
Parfum. Eau de parfum.
Yo, give a shout out to the FBB. What's the FBB?
Free Bottle Brigade. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Duh.
Come on.
I'm rusty today. What can I say? I did work all day, as you can see. I wore this to work. I got my work clothes still on. Robes made some very valid points.
Rush.
I own Musk Ravageur thanks to the Robes. There you go.
Hey, I got a backup bottle. It's right there. Backup bottle's right there.
Nice. You could do worse.
Because I had a little 50 ml, so I got 100 ml now. I don't know, probably reformulated to shit, but we'll see.
We talked a little bit about going into that rabbit hole, finding, like with Musk Ravageur, you would have to find the matte cap one, the one before Estee Lauder bought them. You know, you're not ready to go down that rabbit hole yet, eh?
I do have that matte cap one. I'm fine with my little guy. He's halfway full. So this guy, if he's not performing well, he'll be my, if I feel like having Musk Ravageur, but not the real deal, I'll wear that, and the real Musk Ravageur will be for the good moments.
Have you ever thought about doing comparison videos?
I don't know, like you're more professional for that, personally. Like I'm not, I don't know. I don't know if I could, I don't know, maybe. You know, I could pick stuff apart, but I don't know. Like I've never, honestly, Ram, like I've just gotten backup bottles of Chergy, like things that I got like early in 2009. I'm finally starting, the bottles are starting to get like a little load.
Right.
Like, oh shit. But these are all like, people are saying reformulated, right? Chergy, Musk Ravageur. I just bought Médecine Impériale. I just got Virgin Island water, like all the ones that were early, like Spiritueuse du Vanille, like all these things that I gushed about in 2010. All my bottles were like, oh God. And now I got to unbox these things. And I'm kind of scared a little bit. I'm like, did they lose what they had?
Yeah, Spiritueuse du Vanille. Yeah, it's a good vanilla.
One of the best.
That is a good vanilla. I prefer Shalimar, but Spiritueuse du Vanille is a very good vanilla. Are we hyping Eugene's frags? Have you smelled Eugene's fragrances? Okay, that's going to be, I'll include that in the package I send you, because I'm legitimately interested in your thoughts. I think they are the best. My 2 cents. I think they're the best YouTube brand fragrance out there.
That's not hard to beat, though.
It's not. I mean, when you're competing against Navitus and whoever the fuck else, it's not. But
let's be honest.
I think I would put these up against the Frederic Malls, the Chanels, the Dior's, the Guerlains. You may be surprised. Okay. I'll be interested to hear your serious thoughts on those. Mr. Unboxing Mark, nice to see you, brother. You're now Unboxing Mark.
Yeah.
There's no discovery anymore because brands just drop everything in the influencer's laps.
Yeah, well, and again, those people, a lot of people say like I don't subscribe to them. True. But you have to search and scour for people. That's the thing. You have to find those people, right? That will feed your look for that kind of stuff. Only 30
Lick
likes.
The stream.
Lick it.
Lick the stream.
Angel.
Ramming the goat.
Wow.
Live stream. Is Robes really free from criticism though if he was connected with Fragrance Egg? We already touched on that. They have a job, you have a hobby. That's a good way of putting it. I like that. I like that way of putting it.
Yeah.
Once it turns into a job, I think everything changes.
Well, yeah, you have to hit certain things, right? Those paychecks better be good. Google does not pay well.
They don't.
They don't.
Maybe a week of groceries if you're lucky.
Yeah. So you have to hit those goals and you have to hit them. And that means, those kind of thumbnails, right? You see the thumbnails, like this is hard to do. Do that all the time. That's $5,000 right there. Would you do that for 5,000?
I'm laughing at you, and I'm laughing at. Can you imagine Ode to Erica reviewing a Riz Ladore?
She would.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, her actually reviewing it. I don't think getting her to review it would be the problem. I think the actual review would be just hilarious, though. Robe should keep on the necks. Keep your foot on their necks, I think he's meaning. One of my favorite fragrance memories was watching a 2010 or 2011 fall list from Robes and then ordering a ton of scents from Lucky Scent and discovering James Healy. That's what it's all about, I think, the discovery aspect.
Yeah.
It feels good to bring something to fragcom, right?
I remember, thanks, Panda, first of all. Always a great subscriber, by the way. But, I haven't done, I know what, not looking at my list, but look at other people's list. And I just remember those early days of YouTube when I was young and, like a J.R. Ryder or a Red Adolescence, and they would bring something new to the table. And I'd be like, oh my God, that's a new brand to me. And I would do that. I would go to Lucky Set and I would get 5 or 6 samples. Hold my
Hold my Arige. Have you broken into the Arige line yet?
Did I tell you about that one? Did I tell you about that one time that he sent me some a long time ago?
No, you did not.
Oh, it's in my sample box here somewhere.
Right.
But when I moved, I noticed because there's maybe
I'm the same.
20,000.
No, I keep track. Right? You think you have 20,000 samples? So I keep track of my samples, and I have about 1,600.
This thing is one of those IKEA things. It has maybe 8 or 9. It's huge, and drawers, and it's full to the brim. The next samples I have, they're just laying around because I can't fit them in there. And I do have a tote that's full. Anyway, when I moved, I remember I subscribed to you, and when I moved, and I think you piqued my interest in that brand, and I'm like, I think that owner, and he did. He sent me something, and it was in a velvet case, a hard case, and it had his logo on it, and there was 5 samples in there, and they were dried out. I know that breaks your heart. That breaks your heart. I know they weren't sealed correctly. So they're still there. They're somewhere in there. There's still a little bit left. So I'm thinking I might be able to do a little samples off a drop, but it's better than nothing. And I'm kind of scared too at the same time because I think I'm going to love them. And then I'm going to go online and they're going to be discontinued. They've been discontinued.
Everything's discontinued. It's a one-run
exactly.
shop. That's what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
One-run shops. The funniest thing that happened to me recently. So his newest fragrance here. His newest fragrance is Oud Taiwan, and I absolutely fell in love with this. Love it. I mean, for me, I've worn the shit out of that, and that's a couple months. That's a lot for me. I've probably worn this 8 times or something.
Yeah.
So the funniest was I had a guy in the comments clap back at me pretty hard saying, "You're just a shill for a Riz Ladore." I was like, dude, you realize this sold out in 5 minutes, right? He doesn't have any problem moving this. He doesn't need me to say good things. It's already sold out, dude. Use your brain, okay? Use your brain. It's not like they're sitting around waiting for me to say good things so they can sell their bottles. It's gone. It's out. It's sold out. You can't get it if you want it. But yeah, I'd love. Maybe I'll make you a mill or two.
No,
so
you can't do that. That's a good stuff.
I have to.
Let's I got gold there probably.
It really is. And he sent the oud, the actual oud oil along with it. And that's one of the most amazing oud oils I've ever smelled. And the crazy thing is he was like, dude, I'm an oud distiller and I've never smelled an oud from Taiwan before.
Me neither.
So he's like, yeah, it's
never heard of it.
That's what I love about. I love I love brands like that kind of bring you something different. How much did you guys bench at the gym today? That's an interesting question.
Ram, did you go to the gym today?
I can't bench a lot because I've got I'm triple jointed in my elbow, so I'm like a rep guy. I just do a lot of I do as many reps as I can, but I got to kind of go low weight because my elbow is I can do stuff like that. So I got to take it easy. But I don't know. What do you bench?
Are you the type of guy that has the bar and does it 100 times?
No, not that small. No, I'll throw some 45s on there, but that's usually all I need. I don't need a lot. And I can't do heavy anyways. I have to do the reps.
Yeah. You're getting old.
Exactly.
Aren't we all?
Getting old. Robes recently turned me on to Patchouli Koza by Nishane. It's outstanding. Didn't think Nishane had it in them to make something that good. Yeah. I have not smelled that one yet.
Oh, that's good. Their older stuff, like forget the Annies and all that. No. Like older, like they even have they have one that I got a decant of a chocolate one. And I know you're not into gourmands, but Choco something. Interesting as hell. I think that one, I can't wait to see how many samples of that one.
How about discontinued Nishane? Spice Bazaar.
I have a decant of that one too.
That is really good.
I got that one.
Pretty darn good.
Choco. Yeah.
Pretty darn good.
They have some good early stuff.
They do. I've always sort of liked the house. But then again, I haven't smelled. Well, that's not true. I do own a bottle of Nishane or Ani, and I despise it. I'm going to butcher it in a review one of these days once I get around to it. So I took some questions from the audience actually on the RAM Discord server, which, to be honest, I didn't even know what the hell a Discord server was until a month or two ago, and Noah set one up for me. So I'll if you go back to my older videos, you'll see the link if you want to. If watching fragrance videos all day isn't enough and you want to interact with us, there is a Discord server. But I asked for questions for the live stream in the last 24 hours. And this one's from John C. This is a tough one. So just to show, Ram asked the tough questions here. Marc. So here's what he says. He says, this is from John C. He says, I'd be genuinely curious to hear why Marc insists on making personal insults all the time. I agree with his valid criticism of the influencer community, but the personal criticism, people's appearance, clothing, etc., makes me roll my eyes. It really weakens his points and makes it easy for people to attack back and derail what would otherwise be a fruitful discussion. What would you say to Mr. Marc C? John C, sorry.
I agree. Like, that's what people are coming after me with. I guess if you haven't noticed, I am a guy that has, emotions. So when I do things like that, just put yourself in my shoes. I just watched Max Aroma just like kill this thing. I just watched Otherica, and I'm just like, oh my God. And then I'm like, oh my, like I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting angry. Now it's easy. No, I understand. Like maybe there would have been more tact or more, be more professional in the video. But those kind of videos, I don't know, like
it's hard.
There could be a way of doing it. I think you would have to almost put yourself out of the video and almost be like a voiceover. I think might be best. But yeah, it's in the middle of, and I was just like, oh my God, this part of this community is gone. Like I've never, some of these I've never watched before. So I'm just like,
no, I'm the same.
Like I watched like Curly for six, like I'm not kidding, Ram, 6 minutes of the video, 6. And I ramble, but 6 minutes was about how it performs. 6 of an unboxing performance. And I'm like,
right. How do you know? How do you know?
How is this going to end? Like,
how do you know how it's going to perform?
No, but she was saying, oh, the room's filled. Like she didn't even spray it, first of all. So she's like, oh, it's engulfing me. And I'm like, well, you didn't spray it. And she said it. I didn't spray it yet. And I'm like, okay, you got a leaky bottle, I guess.
Yeah, it has to, I mean, otherwise you wouldn't be able to smell it yet.
But then she was saying the house smells, and then she was saying like a minute later she was talking to her friend, and it's beast. And I'm like, oh my god, like this is unboxing.
It's egregious.
Yeah. So I was there. There was just I was just in awe, I guess. Like, how can you? I don't know. Like you're not getting anything out of this. Why click the video? Well, I understand why some click the video. I know that. But as far as content wise, like if I'm interested in the fragrance, what did I get out of that? It was an unboxing. Like you didn't wear it several days and said it lasts this long.
Right.
I would have more. Yeah. I would have more respect if you said, you know what? I wore this. There's a big dent, right? And saying, look, I wore this for several days, and you're not shooting the video before. Yeah, you didn't shoot it before launch, right? It's like unboxing, longevity, projection, compliment factor. Whoa. Whoa.
Yes. Yeah,
so,
I've noticed that's what most folks were coming after you about was
it
attacked. But I understand exactly what you're saying.
It's an easy target, right? And they targeted my previous videos. They're like, look, this guy's trying to get attention because his previous videos are getting like 500 views. I'm doing unboxings. Like I'm not trying. Like, what does how many views did he get? Like 20,000, 10,000, something like that. That brings my channel up, and it brings it right down. The next unboxing video, I'm out of the algorithm. And I got like maybe 100 subscribers out of it, which is great. It's great to see. That means, you know, I didn't lose 1,000 subscribers. It means that people did like what they saw, and there's a new audience, right? That's what that video did. It brought a new audience to maybe our platform. Like it starts with me, but it might move on to Ram, and they might unsubscribe to me after and go to Ram and stay there.
Or Rich Mitch. There's a whole bunch of folks that I think that are
or other ones, right?
Yeah. Here, AZ asked, was Robes inspired from Eugene back in the day? That's the second Eugene question from this guy, by the way. So, Eugene, is that your burner account? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think I was that bad. Like mine is still up.
Yes, we need a fraud of the week, Robes. A fraud of the week. That would be funny. No. Mike V asked, will it be redundant to watch the second video? I'm guessing the second video you put out is what he means on this.
No.
I'll let you answer this if you want, or we can just skip
quality
it.
fragrance.
I have no clue. I have no clue who this person is. So I have no clue.
Listen, he came out like he came after me on Instagram. He added Fragrance X, which doesn't like he thought that was going to do something. The CEO doesn't care of what I do of Fragrance X. So he thought he was going to get rid of my sponsor by doing that. I see his I saw
like Tiger Woods. You're going to lose your sponsorship.
I saw the tactic.
Bad boy.
I'm like, okay, but then I understand who he's friends with, and he's their bulldog. Like he was just trying to get a rise out of me.
Shill's bulldog, man. That's, I mean, you could do better than that, I would think, but I didn't see any of it. Shout outs to S Boy. I guess they mean what's his name's fragrance. Can either of you help me? I'm really into frags, but wrist beads are my real jam.
you got some trolls on you.
Isn't it different when you get PR from a house versus a store? Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that. So like I got some flack over a news from Enchante Perfume sending me some free bottles. But again, he is a vintage. Well, first of all, he sends them to me and says, these are gifts as a friend. Do whatever you want with them. He doesn't care if I talk about them. Don't talk about them. Whatever. They're just gifts from a friend is the way he puts it. So I have no expectation to actually discuss it. The reason I recommended Nuge is because I've got a ton of experience with the guy. He had sent me a bottle, like for example, he sent me this. Actually, it's right here. He sent me this right here, Silver Mountain, this vintage Silver Mountain water from the early 2000s. He sent this to me, And when I got it, I was like, dude, this is just, it's fucked. Like it's turned. Like, and he was like, no problem. I won't charge you for it, you know? And so that's the kind of guy that I want to recommend to folks if they're looking for vintage fragrances, because I trust him.
Yeah.
And so I got flack for taking free bottles from him. But if you want to see a proper review when you get a free bottle and you don't like it, go watch my Jaseda Titanium review. I absolutely annihilated that thing. And you know what's funny is the lady from the brand hit me up and I was like, well, I guess this is the last free bottle I'll get from you guys. And she was like, no, not necessarily. We really appreciate your feedback. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I told her before she sent it, I was like, listen. But yeah, I mean, that was a free bottle given to me by the brand. I think it might be the worst thing in my collection. No joke. It's absolutely horrendous. I don't know if you smell titanium, but it is.
No, but like
horrendous.
you're saying, just to piggyback on what you're saying, like someone did come to me about you, and I was like, yeah, but Ram was talking about a vintage fragrance from a small vintage shop. It's not the same thing as a curly fragrance 10 out of 10 new release PR thing. Like and Ram is going to give it like I know Ram, he's either going to give it, it's flowers, which is probably deserving. He's not going to just give flowers just to give flowers, or B, he's going to trash it to hell. He trashes, he'll trash, or he'll say, okay, but it's a vintage perfume. It's not like you can, like, there's no hype. There's no nothing. Like,
no,
you can't buy it anywhere. There's nothing.
There's no hype for French line. I can tell you that right now. I mean, you could probably find bottles on eBay for $50 or whatever. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
That's the kind of stuff that people like myself or someone that's in our community, they'll never heard of that thing. Will trust you. Might not buy it from a Nuge, but will go into some sort of rabbit hole. And this is the kind of stuff that I don't care if you got it for free. I care that what the content is, the insight. Like, I don't care about links. Like, people are saying links. They're coming after me about links this, links. It's not about the links. It's not about that. You can have a link if you want. Go ahead. But it's the pumping of the product and doing it constantly.
Yeah, they're salespeople.
Constantly.
Not reviewers, they're salespeople.
Yeah. That's the issue.
You're
I don't care.
Like infomercial is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're watching an infomercial for sure. Top note of sexy. Let's see what I'm probably a million miles behind on the comments, by the way. But
I told you, like on the last live, I show up and the chat's gonna go out of control.
Challenged me to a debate on his live stream. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Spice is out elk hunting. Hope you bagged a good one, brother. What's up, Noah? Noah put together the Discord server. Appreciate that. Hit like. Yes, thank you. Thank you, F-Stop. If EQ is that equality, was so eager to debate his critics, he wouldn't put his streams on subscriber only mode and block half his audience. What is with the whole only subscribers can?
Oh, I didn't even know that even existed. Like you told me that,
how to do that
in your last live. You're telling me there was like a 14-day period on someone's, and I was like, you can do that.
That was TLTG they were talking about.
And then I was so confused. I was like, but why? But why? But now that you explained it, like, I understand. Like, he's getting, I guess, people, he answers to trolls, basically. He feeds it.
Yes. Funny. They say funny, you know exactly how all this works.
Well,
question for Robes. Did you say negative things about other influencer person because of frustration or to ruffle some feathers?
That's where you lost me. No, I think it was just that that whole day of watching that kind of stuff and shooting. And you kind of get like, in my head, I was just like, oh my God, like some things started annoying you. It's honestly, it's things that unfortunately is stuff I said. It was on the video, and people targeted that instead of the actual content. That's it. People make fun of me with my glasses. People make fun of me and my French, right? Eau de parfum. Uh, Eau de parfum is the right way of saying it as a French Canadian, by the way. I went to school. My schooling, by the way, until high school was at a French school. I only learned English in grade 7. My mom was a French teacher. The household was French. She would not answer me if I spoke English to her. That's how French my house was.
That's awesome.
No, my mom still does that. She does it to my son now.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. But I think getting some flack here and there, I mean, you're putting yourself on the internet. That's going to happen. There's no getting around that.
And that kind of video, like I'm not, I've been around the block, Ram. Like I know it's going to hit beyond my audience. I knew that it was going to start. I was going to get hit by, actually, it wasn't that bad. Like I thought people were going to start making fun of the way I looked. Right. And that's fine. Go ahead. I'm out there. Right. So take shots at me. But I kind of knew, and honestly, it hasn't been that bad. That's the thing that shocks me, is that there is obviously several comments, but other than that, it was overwhelmingly positive.
Well received.
Yes, and
that message.
I was shocked. Yeah.
Plus, I think they're ready. Plus, you, like I was saying this in the last live stream I did, but I think you kind of have that. You've been here since 2009. You haven't gone down like many of the channels that have been here since 2009, they either quit or they, like you said, would you say traveled over or crossed over, or they crossed over.
They transferred.
They transferred.
Yeah.
Yes.
I lost all my friends. Honestly, like it's great to have like a group of, like, I loved it, because I had people that grew with me. Right. I had the JR Riders and all that, and Tim Sweatkoff. Like I still talk to the guy. Hero. I still talk to the guy. These are people that was my generation, we'll say. And it's nice to have that generation. But like eventually I was like, oh, I'm the only one left. Like I'm here now, and where's my friends?
I know what you mean. So this guy, Operator Dirge, who said affiliate links are fine if there's transparency and honesty, he was one of the ones who actually left a question in the Discord server. So let me grab his question. So he said, here's his question to you, Mark. What fragrance notes / ingredients would you like to see used more in current designer and niche fragrances? And what trends do you think could realistically make a comeback in this day and age? Also, what Canadian brick and mortar frag stores would you recommend? And what's the best poutine place? So damn. Did you take notes on that?
A lot. Let's unpack it. What was the first one? Let's start with the first one.
First one was, what fragrance notes and ingredients would you like to see used more in current designer and niche fragrances?
That's a great question. What hasn't been, like, what I'd like to see more of? and this might not be in Ram. Ram might hate me for this, but I'd like to see a lot more fruity ouds. And I know the oud thing's passed, but I'd like to see, and I know it's like super synthetic, like fruits and ouds do work so well together, like a plummy oud, a blueberry oud, like something like that. That's me, right? Ram's gonna hate that. He's gonna be like, Mark, come on, man, like tobacco or something like that. But I feel like there's so much, like, I don't know, there's so much that hasn't been touched, like, in that genre, I'll say.
There are some ouds that just smell like that, though. Ensar has some. They're just unbelievably expensive, but it just naturally smells like blueberries or strawberries or fruits or, peaches. It's crazy that oud can do that, but it's one of the few ingredients that honestly oud can smell like anything. It's very strange. Different regions, different tree species, you know, it can. And I think I've reviewed, I forget, but if you go to my NSAR playlist, you'll find it. There was a fruity oud I reviewed, and it's like, this is nice, but is it $800 nice? You know what I mean? So, but that's to each their own.
Yeah.
Rob says you should get paid for driving traffic to Fragrance X. Not doing so makes you a saint. Doesn't make you a saint. It makes you a sucker. Shilling for free shouldn't leave you with any delusions of integrity. Well, he gets the bottles, you know, so sort of getting paid in a way. Jeremy is the devil. I like Jeremy's old videos before the alleged White Claws came out. If Jeremy see how far behind we're on the Jeremy comments right now.
Jeez, the arc. Oh man, that was like at the start.
That was at the start. Fragcom is a broad church. Seek out the channels that suit your own taste and interests. Let's move on from bagging the reviewers and shills and get back to fragrances. That's what I said. There's a balance. But obviously you can see people want to hear. They want to hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Obviously they want to hear it.
Yeah.
A lot of salt in here today. All right. Question for Mark. We're speaking a lot about the state of Fragcom, but how do we feel about the state of the industry as a whole? That's a great question. Is the decline of the content mirrored in the quality of the releases? That is a fantastic question.
And yes, it's exactly what he said. You know, the industry now, like designers are super expensive now. Like Canadian, you're looking at a new release, $180. They used to be like
Easy.
120, 110. So now there's this, back when I was on YouTube, and that's not a long time ago. It's just, you know, it's just back in the day. You could find designers for 20, 30, 40, and most of them 50, 60, 70 at discounters. And even at retailers, you could find the smaller bottle for that price. Now there's this huge gap now at $100. And this is where these clone houses just came in and ravaged all that. So now the line is really blurred between designer and niche. Like I remember like niche brands, there would be a huge gap. Like, am I going to spend $100 on, you know, a Jean-Paul Gaultier, or am I going to spend $300 on a Frederic Malle? Now the Frederic Malle is $450 because the Jean-Paul Gaultier is $200 now. It's like a discounters. The Frederic Malle was $200. Like there was Serge Lutens for $70.
I know, the good old days. You could find the old 50 mil Serge. You're right. Yeah, these bottles right here. I've been loving this, by the way. This is Vetiver Oriental. This is phenomenal.
Solid.
The patchouli in here does not get enough play. The Vetiver obviously is amazing, but the patchouli in here is that Serge Lutens patchouli that's just like Borneo 1834, whatever it is.
Well, that's a dank one. That's I
love
patchouli.
The way Serge Lutens. I love how Serge Lutens does patchouli. It is fantastic. The patchouli in 5 o'clock Ocean Zambra is, he is. He's really amazing. But the other problem is that niche fragrances now smell like designers for double the price. That's the real issue. So,
and I saw that too, right?
Yeah, it's not just one layer of it. It's the whole.
It's all like basically now it's indie or bust. Honestly, like there's still some niche brands like Perfumed Empire. You know, these like what happened to L'Artisan Parfumeur? What happened to that brand? Like all their good stuff. Yeah, all their good stuff discontinued. And then they do have the good stuff. It's never in stock for some reason. I'm just like, what is going on with that brand?
But I think that's why people flock to brands like Papillon, or like you said, the artisan brands. You know, I think that's why they are that. I mean, like you said at the beginning, I don't think all of Fragcom is fucked because there are some good corners. And I don't think all of the fragrance world is fucked because there are some good corners. I mean, thank God for people like Liz Moore's and, you know, folks making that type of perfumery. It's there. You just have to search it. And like you said, you have to discover it. If you're just accepting the clone bottles, you're not getting to You're not getting to the meat. You know, you're eating a side dish for your main course.
And a lot of those clone bottles, if you do the math, you know, 100 ml bottle of a designer versus the 30 ml of a clone brand that's $60, you're paying more if you didn't know. And
good point.
And a lot of those, I'll be honest, a lot of those you don't even know what's in it, right? So be careful with those clone brands.
Absolutely. I think this is Russian Adam. He says, happy to see you both together. Please give us your most recent worn fragrances, the ones calling your name and just grabbing and spraying away. I've been wearing a lot of ouds lately. Like today I mentioned the Ensar. I mentioned how much I was loving his Oud Taiwan. So honestly, what I've been wanting to wear lately is the artisanal houses. Like that's what's kind of been calling to me. And of course the discontinued vintage fragrances that I love. That's where my heart's at. My heart's in vintage and the artisanal houses for me.
Yeah. And my heart's in the, you know, the niche and the hard to find ones. And, you know, like a lot of the things I'm doing now, of course, is the unboxings, and I put it on skin and I do that daily. So it's kind of hard to, you know, I find it exhausting. I'm doing it daily. Honestly, I don't know how these guys do it. I'm guessing they're not putting it on skin. I don't know, but you know, testing something out for an unboxing and putting first impression, that's your set of the day. You don't really have a choice. And you know, I shower and stuff like that. So usually in a day, I could be on an upwards of, like, honestly, just 2 fragrances usually is the bulk, right? One in the morning, one at night. But if I'm testing and stuff, it could be, if I'm testing, then I could be going on upwards of 8, give or take. Like some mornings when I'm testing, I have at least 4. Like I put one here, one here, one here, and one here, and I'm testing. That's what I'm doing. And I'm writing down my brief. I'm smelling stuff like that. And that's the most. And then I shower and then I do my unboxing, quote unquote. But if I had my choice, like mostly I've been going into my L'artisan Parfumeur, talking about them, like things like Tea for Two, Zing. You know, those are fragrances. I just got Al Oud. That thing's awesome. I just bought, it's right there, Patchouli Patch. I blind bought this.
I don't think I've smelled that one yet.
I don't know if it's any good, but it's an oldie, right? It's a hard to find one. It's always like out of stock. So I'm looking forward to unboxing that. Talking about Serge Chitan, I just got Cuir Moresque. I don't know if this is going to be any good either. It's probably amazing. Oh, Ramsey doesn't have anything now. It's all up to me. Ram can't hear me. Anyway, if I'm holding on to this is my scent of the day tonight, actually, scent of the night. Sacre de Création by Guerlain. It has that vanillic swirl that you're going to expect from Guerlain. It has a little bit of jasmine too. I wouldn't say it's the best from the brand, but it has that Guerlainade, right? So an excellent scent and a collector's piece. This is like one of those that it would probably be one of the last, if I sold everything, this would be one of the last bottles I would sell. Just because of the collector piece and how hard it was for me to get it.
That's awesome. Am I back?
You are back. I can hear you.
My earphones are dead, so here we are.
But you're gone. Like you just put everything on me now. Like everybody sees my little cactus and my
call center. There you go. I'm back.
Call center.
98% of Cuban knows ratings are below 8.0. Where do you stand on that? Is that a true fact, Regal Beagle?
I don't know. I could geek out and put out a spreadsheet, but I don't have time for that.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Do they have a job outside of YouTube? Yeah, that's usually a very good sign. Usually a very good sign. Yeah, I think we hit 300. That's by far
really
the the most folks that have ever tuned into one of my. Usually it's 30 to 75, maybe 100, 150 if we have Sultan Pasha or something like that on, Russian Adam. But yeah, so obviously that's what I was saying about balancing it, because obviously the people want they want to hear what you have to say on this very important topic that I'm sure they cannot wait.
They want the clips, right?
They want the clip. They want the clip.
Yeah. They want to catch me on something. I hear you. I see you.
Yes, we know you're back there. Fragcom females got to stop reviewing men's fragrances. I don't know if I agree with that, Whiskey. I think
I don't.
I don't agree with that. I think anyone can review anything. That's just my 2 cents.
I think there's a certain, I'm guessing I know what he's talking about. Like that certain group, right? You're wearing a shirt that's too small for you. You know, you're doing, that type of stuff. Like there's tons of respectable women like Lola. She was great. She hasn't been doing anything, but, well dressed and doing niche fragrance reviews that are unisex and doing a great job of doing it. I have no issues with that.
I agree. I know exactly what. Yep. I think you said it perfectly. So here's an interesting point Metal Alloy brings up. The era where robes came from is hard to compare with the modern era, because now the volume of new releases is several multiples more these days. Well, that's 110% true. Back in the day, I guess like Robes, if you reviewed, I don't know, like if you reviewed something like, let's say L'Instant de Guerlain, right? Probably everyone else had their bottle of L'Instant de Guerlain. They were following along. You know what I mean? It was kind of like maybe the pool you were fishing out of was much smaller back then. You think that has something to do with like the bifurcation of fragcom?
Well, I guess the new releases, I guess, but it's the type of videos you're making. Like, who's doing single fragrance reviews anymore? Or those type of people, unfortunately, like if it's not a new release, I can spot it. Those people are going to have 10,000 or less subscribers. Single reviews. Yeah, it's not there anymore. And a lot of them that switched over know exactly. They stopped doing that. They stopped. Like Gent Sense, Ashton, Redolescence, they're not doing the passion projects anymore.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's just the other stuff that comes with it.
Yes.
Those lactonic vibes. Oh, that's when you're drinking milk. Oh man. We are way behind.
The lactonic, baby. The lactonic. You don't mind sticking around another like 6 hours till we catch up on the comments, do you?
I need another coffee.
I love watching free bottle giveaways on those channels. The sucking up is unreal. That is pretty funny. That is pretty funny. I don't watch any of that. I can't. I mean, honestly, my 2 cents, if I was going to watch fragrance reviews now, which I don't have as much time for between the job and putting out content, I would probably watch old fragcom. I would probably go back and watch I'd rather watch old Persolet's videos, old videos of you or AC, or that interests me more, honestly. And I like the camaraderie aspect. I like the community aspect of frag. I mean, I've met some amazing folks like Rich, Mitch, and Jonathan and I mean, we probably talk every single day, or at least text on WhatsApp or something. There are some amazing people in the community, but you have to dig. You have to go beneath the surface. You have to kind of look. You have to seek it out. It's like if you want a vintage bottle, you have no idea how many times people will write me and be like, "Hey, man, I'm looking for the original Antaeus, with the silver sprayer from the 80s," and it's like, you got to look for that. You got to search for that. You got to
work for that.
You got to make connections, and you're not just going to go, "I want the original Antaeus," click, and it's at your door. There's an effort to it. So
piggybacking on that and talking about community, some of the best finds and the hardest finds were from people in the community.
100%.
The friends that I made, like things like Tom Ford Moss Bresh, okay? That thing was unicorn.
I'm
Hard to
jealous of
find.
you.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to spend $10,000 on it.
No.
Guess what? I got a friend in the community. He's like, you know what? You've done, so much for me. I got a backup bottle. I'm like, wait, you have a backup bottle, first of all?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll sell it to you for a little above retail. I'll make some profit, but not too much. You okay with that? He's like, what's a good price? I'm like, name your price, right? And it wasn't, it was expensive. Like I spent 500 plus, but not 10,000.
Right.
And there was some like things that were, that I've been looking for years. Those are the things that within the community, people were like, I know you're looking for this. Here it is.
Yeah.
Here's a link. Here's a store that has it. Or there's something in the States that won't ship to Canada. I'll do it for you. Like my makers used to do that all the time for me.
Yeah.
Like Dan, rest in peace to Dan, but what a great guy. What a great guy. Like him, Daver did some for me too.
Yeah.
Like he'd just be like, I'll get this for you on eBay.
I don't know if you saw it, but I had a guy, Bekzad from Uzbekistan. I think he's from Uzbekistan. And he sent me 16 discontinued fragrances that were like unicorn level. I mean, he just sent them to me. He said, here, it's a gift. Stuff like Azure. I'm looking at one right now, Monsieur Coutier, Barishnikov Porom, like stuff that he was like, hey man, I've been watching your channel for the last 2 or 3 years. Here's some stuff I've never heard you talk about. That is like, the community aspect. Like, what do you say? I mean, like a thank you isn't enough. That's very like the generosity is. It really, there are good people in this. Like I call them vintage people. Like, it's like you come like nowadays they're like you can't sleep with your windows unlocked or your door unlocked, and everyone's kind of nervous about each other. It's almost like you're going back in time. You got a vintage friend there. It's good stuff, man. I've come across some amazing people, and the community aspect of this is it's one of my favorite parts of the fragrance community. Now you don't have to be born with it. Jovan Sex Appeal. Yes, absolutely. One of the best slogans of all time. Thanks for the super chat, Michael. Christo was one of the real ones. Yes, Christo. I would rather watch old Christo reviews, to be honest with you. He still has his videos up. Yeah, he loved Comme des Garçons. That's a house that I would love to dive into. I have not gone enough into Comme des Garçons.
Have you smelled the black from Comme des Garçons?
Yeah, that's one of the ones I have smelled. I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah, that was a good one. And I have 2-man, and I've tried some, but I there's a lot I haven't tried. A lot from that house.
It's a good house, and it's one that you have to like. Discounters don't have them because they're really rigid. They're like Chanel, man. They'll do cease and desist like quick.
Oh, they will? Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought it was just Chanel.
No,
Antonio's late for class.
I'm late for class. Oh shit.
Your seat in the front is right here, sir, as always. The evolution of the content is reflecting the evolution of the fragrance industry in the modern times. But then again, the mainstream has always been more about popularity and profits rather than art. Yeah, there's some truth to that.
Mm-hmm. There's
definitely some truth to that. Subscribe to Marc since 2011. It's been a great journey. Thanks for the super chat, man. Appreciate that. Agree that ladies need to chill with the sexual stuff. They never will. Sex sells. I mean, that's not going to stop. There was some guy who left a comment, I think it was on Marc's video actually, and said, well, I just watch her with the sound off, so I don't really care what she says. It's like let's see. Oh, here we go. I have a gift for you. I told you about this backstage, but before we get too late in the night, so I'm going to send Marc some decants because I've agreed to go on his channel for round 2 before the year is out. So I need the chat, which means I'm gonna have to go down to the bottom and actually get through these comments. I need the chat to make some vintage fragrance recommendations, and then Marc can tell us if he smelled it before. And if he hasn't, I'm gonna come up with a list. Where's my notepad? All right, I'm gonna come up with a list, and we're gonna do probably like 5 to 10, depending on how many decants I have left here. vintage fragrances that I'm going to send him, and then we'll discuss them when I go on his channel. So leave
Give me the good stuff.
what recommendations you think. Obviously, you know what they're going to say: Bellamy, Antaeus. Have you smelled Antaeus and Bellamy and Koros and all that stuff?
Well, I've smelt them, but I don't know if it's vintage, right? I would have to show you my bottle, and you'd be like, "Oh no, Mark, no, that's like 90s." You don't have the good stuff.
It may be, as long as you're pre the really bad IFRA reforms, you may be all right. You may be okay. Are there any? Well, let me just start here. Are there any you can think of right off the bat that you're like, man, I've always wanted to smell that, but I've never been able to?
Vintage? That Calvin.
Okay. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, this is
I don't know, that interests me.
That is one of the best. I think you'll dig it.
Yeah.
I think you'll dig it. Did you watch my review on it yet?
I have not. It's on the watch list. I have to watch
on the watch list.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, let me make the list. Calvin.
Like 80s would be something I've smelt some, but not vintage, right? Like Fahrenheit and stuff like that. But like it'd be interesting to delve more. Like I'm a 90s guy. Like I got lots. Like I got the 90s. Like don't 80s, 70s, maybe. I don't know, go that far.
70s, 80s.
Yeah. Like I own like things like Eau Sauvage, but it must be stuff from like 2000. Like those are recent purchases, and I mean recent, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So
right.
Like my Kuros has the silver shoulders.
Right. So it still has its armor on. Yeah, that's
exactly.
I mean, I could send you the vintage, but it's, I mean, I'd probably focus on stuff you haven't smelled before. Like, have you smelled this? I was mentioning this earlier. The guy that sent me these discontinued fragrances. Have you smelled Monsieur Couturier from '78?
That looks so old school. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, we got to include this.
He's like,
do you like Derby, Guerlain Derby?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. All right.
But I got the new bottle with the wood.
Still good.
Wood.
No, that's still good.
No good?
No, that's still good. It is good.
Okay.
It is good.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's a fantastic reformulation. Actually, I would go so far as to say that might be one of Thierry Vassar's just best works. Like the reformulating that, how he did.
It's excellent.
Brilliant.
I like
it's excellent. It is apps. Like I don't have that bottle, but if one came up for sale at a good price, I would buy that wood frame bottle. It is fantastic. All right, let's do some comments and we'll see what the Ask the Audience feature says about which vintage fragrances. We already got two. We got two. So Billy asked, where do you spray on fragrance and how many sprays? I turn my wrist down and hold my arm to my chest and spray and repeat with the other arm. That puts 2 sprays on 4 places.
Is that on me?
If you'd like to take it, take it.
As far as sprays go, I have my routine, but it all depends on what fragrance, what's the weather like, what am I doing, where am I going, is it upscale? There's so much stuff. Like I try to avoid this area because I'm not going to smell the fragrance after 2 minutes. And don't believe the people that say spray 20 sprays. Like, no, don't do that. But back of the neck is always like number one, and then you can do your pulse points and stuff. But you start after years, you'll see which fragrance works better. How many sprays I need to do. There's a good rule of thumb is probably like 5 sprays. Personally, for me, it's a good rule of thumb. But some fragrances, like 5, is just choking yourself out. And more is never. It's not usually better. You don't want to be that guy. I am sensitive to people. Like if I'm going into a building, and let's say I go into a government building, something like that, I am going to be sensitive of what I'm wearing. I'm going to be mindful of that. If I'm going outside, but if I go a walk outside, Yeah, I could go 20 sprays with something, but why waste the sprays? Like, what's
Right.
what's the
Meanwhile,
point of
here
that?
I am wearing my NSAR to work, Um,
You don't
but
give a.
I don't care. I really
I'm
don't.
the boss.
Yeah, you gotta put on a good foot forward. What's with the Blue Jays hat?
And match with the shirt.
There you go. All right, have you smelled Jules by Dior?
Yeah, I got the new stuff that he's saying is not good.
You got the new one.
The new bottle there, the one, the
I feel
square
like
bottle.
I feel like you should smell the vintage.
Yeah, the
I feel
new
like this
bottle's
is
not bad.
one. I've never smelled the new one, so I'm only going off of what I've heard, but I've heard that it was not a very good reformulation. That
Oh.
they didn't capture the soul of the vintage. But I haven't
That
smelled it. I don't know.
That could happen, right? But it's as far as the designer release, it didn't do well sales wise, obviously, but a lot of the designers that are off the beaten path don't. So I
Yeah.
felt it was a solid release. But that's me, right? I'm not a vintage. Like, I'm not going to go look into the lineage. But
Yeah.
now you're going to send me this stuff, and I'm going to be like, oh my god, I need that.
We could if you already have the modern, we could skip that one so you don't feel like you
Too
have
bad.
to go try to hunt down that's a hard one to find. It's not easy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that can be a tough one to find. So you want to stay with the 80s. Have you smelled Teatro alla Scala by Kritzia?
Mm-mm.
Okay. That's actually a women's fragrance, but I'm gonna throw that in. Because I think you would really dig it. That shit knocked me off my chair the first time I smelled it.
That's what I like to hear.
It is phenomenal. Absolutely. I was instantly looking for backup bottles the first time I smelled that.
I just saw the chat, Ram, and someone's like saying they are so far behind. Those people probably already left. They're like,
well, for me, I mean, I'm happy with how it played out, so it has nothing to do. Does Robe still have his Facebook group?
I do. However, I am, I'm just the puppet. Like, I'm just the face. I do not moderate it. I have great moderators that take care of it.
That's awesome. Hit the like button. Christo listening to eclectic music. Are there any credible reviewers left you recommend? Okay, so we mentioned AC from AC Smells Good. Who else can you think of?
Top of my head. Pep is great.
Pep is good.
Pep is really good. Trying to think. There's a lot of smaller channels. Like unfortunately, a lot of the ones that are, I have a job, I'm not doing this full time. Those kind of people, unfortunately, continue to, I'm not going to post anymore. Unfortunately. Like Joy, right? I love Joy.
Joy's okay. Yeah,
Joy,
for sure.
Joy is happy Joy.
Yes, he is. He always tells you he's not feeling well in the beginning of his fragrance videos, but
I do worry about his health.
He's he at least he loves he does it for the love of the game for sure. He's one of those guys.
He does. But I really want to start getting into, we used to do shout outs. And I know this is not, this new generation, that's not going to get views, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like getting back into that, like smaller channels, right? And just kind of go, look at this person and what they're doing. I think that would really, help the community a little bit and maybe like boost up, I'm not saying you're a small channel, Ram, but it kind of like helped a little bit. I think a lot of people from my viewership will enjoy your channel. The ones that are new, I think will really like what you bring to the table.
Thank you. Waiting for Redo's top 1,000 free bottles of all time video.
He probably has 1,000.
Who is Redo? Redolescence. Do you remember when Christo had a separate channel for his vinyl records? Called it More Indie Than You. There's a throwback. Sure hope
No.
Joy is watching.
He'll probably catch it. Please do a top 100. Oh, they're way back, eh? Come on, Ram, speed it up. Let's go.
Speed it up. Let's speed it up.
Let's look at these.
Let's look at these. Link for Oda Erica's boyfriend. Let's see. The horse left the barn. No one cares that people are getting free bottles. Okay. That's fair. That is fair. Only nerd. Well, we are. We're fragrance nerds, dude. Consumer making the decision for themselves. Stop taking agency away from the little guys. If you go blindly buy a bottle because of a girl, that's on you. I do agree with the sense of taking responsibility. I think not enough people take responsibility for what they do. Like if you pull out your credit card and buy something, that's not someone else's fault. That is your fault. 100%. That's my 2 cents on it. That's my 2 cents on it. Fragrance biz is 55 billion. YouTube influencers are a tiny microscopic piece. Well, I think with the internet the way it is definitely increased as time has gone on in relevance.
It's going to move. I'm calling it now. They're going to have their own talking heads. They're actually going to have their PR person is going to hire somebody to have a YouTube channel and push their products.
Yeah. Like a mole on the inside, you mean? Like
Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, they own all these brands. Imagine that influence. Yeah. Just find a model. Just find a model and do it. And have a bunch of editors and stuff. Boom. You're gonna have it's gonna take over. Boom. Done.
See, this is someone look at this. Discovered your channel from my life. That is unbelievable to me. Like that is unbelievable to me.
Look at us.
That's absolutely shocking. They love the way you say parfum. Tristan Tate did say you can trash a brand except if it's a Bugatti. Remind me of the Prince of India purchasing 6 rollers and pick up trash. Okay. Thank you for your authenticity. Marc coined the term fragrance fountain. What's that?
I did not. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
If I did say it, I don't know. Journeyman.
Yeah, I love Journeyman. You both got me to try and buy Myths Man. Smells nothing like urinal crates. Great chrysanthemum fire. It is fantastic, and I'm sad they discontinued it as well.
Ooh, Amouage is going down a rabbit hole right now. Purchase your Amouages. Purchase your Amouages now.
They're going through something.
Yeah, you think like since Chong left, they're going through something? No. This is going to be like, that's why I got a backup of Juby, because I don't know what's going to happen. Juby might be gone, and people will be like, "You're talking about the non-magnetic cap." People are going to be looking at this magnetic cap and be like, "I wish I had that." I'm telling you.
You could really, when you think about it, though, this is something I've been, toying with for a while. It's not just Amouage. It's every niche house, it feels like, in the last couple of years has gone down hardcore. Yeah. Like, look at Creed. Look at Roja's changed a lot. I mean, it's a lot of niche houses I feel like have changed substantially just in the last 5 years.
I think a lot of them are changing the way that they were building their product for a sale. And I think that's what Amouage did with Chong. Like, I don't know the whole story, but I think they pushed him out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because
I think so.
They wanted something, someone to build more mainstream fragrances, to build up the portfolio and sell.
Probably refused.
Yeah, he's probably like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's sad to see, though, when you love a brand, like what Amouage to me was kind of like probably one of the reasons I'm here talking to you. When you love a brand like that and to see what they're going through, it sucks. It really does suck.
Yeah.
Habs or Leafs?
Oh God, Chad, you troll. Troll.
The funny thing is when they all make the same video a day apart. That is a great tell. That's how you can unsubscribe to all those channels at once, actually. Love that the two of you are doing a live stream. Thank you. Again, with his Cuba below 8. I don't we'll have to fact check that. He won't like Eugene's frags, even if he does. I guess they're talking about you. Are you going to be honest about Eugene's fragrances, Mark?
That's all I've been.
Why did that dude jizz? That's an inside fragcom joke. If you know, you know.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah, me neither. I'll tell you later. Send Erica Oud Zen. I would not waste a drop of Oud Zen. No offense, Ajay. You know how much I love that stuff. I only have like a couple mils left. I'm not wasting it. More airing of grievances. Rose put me onto Clive Christian X back in the day in 2010 or so. That's probably one of Clive Christensen's best fragrances, actually.
Mm-hmm.
J.R. Ryder became a crooked cop. Everything I love about both of your content is discovery, and discovery is basically everything. Yes. I'm a bad influence. Apparently. Gotta go. Thanks for being here, man. All right, let's get down to where they're talking about these vintage fragrances. This is the Fragcom War or Fragcom Reminiscing? See, they're just looking for blood, man.
Yeah.
They're out for blood. Wonder what happened to Drakdoc.
He had a family, and that's it.
That's it. T. Sweatcoff is the first reviewer.
Yeah, he's the third one on the block, Mr. Sweatcoff.
A bad influence on the influencers, which is a good influence on us. Can't believe I'm seeing the GOAT live. Never got a notification. Sub to both of you. Yeah, YouTube has been shady with notifications. There's something's going on. They're also going through a little something apparently. My dad used to flex that Stetson back in the day. It's actually a pretty good scent. I'm going to review it one of these days.
My dad too.
What's your thoughts on Balenciaga Pour Homme?
Never smelt it.
Oh, well, that's fucking going on the list. You've never smelled Balenciaga Pour Homme?
Mm-hmm.
God damn, dude.
On your Ram? Those that's an 80s, right?
It's early 90s. Early, like
okay.
1990.
Okay.
But you're in for a treat. You're in for a real treat with that one. Don't ever do that with it. It's like watching a football injury. Yeah, no, I'm this arm. I could be in one of those kung fu movies where someone hits me and I'm like, ah. So yeah, I gotta. That's why I said I can't bench heavy. Have you guys tried Musica Oud by Nishane? I have not.
I have not, but I have a sample of it.
Pure Distance M.
Yes.
Angel Man was the one that did it for me. I like Amen. I'm a fan. A contortionist. Robe's first live of Eldo Rien Intense Incense. That's a great fragrance too. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Nishane was pretty well known for telling influencers to not say the bottle was free.
Yes. I remember that fondly.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Aside from TFDB, any good decant sites? Speaking of decant sites, is there a good decant site that you know of, Mark?
fragflex.com.
Hang on, I'll do a banner for you. What is it?
Please do. Fragflex.com.
Fragflex.com.
Yeah.
There you go.
Code TFG10.
There's your decant site. You're welcome.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Put some flair on that.
Can we see another Cuban no impression?
I think I'm done with the Cuba.
The only time I didn't like Robes was when he disappeared. That is maybe the kindest comment anyone said about you tonight, man.
That's nice.
Eucharist. That's a good fragrance.
That is.
For someone starting to build their collection, what would you say about getting fragrances you recommend that have been heavily reformulated? Man, that is a tough question for me.
That's all you.
Yeah, Mark doesn't go down the reformulation route. He's like, I'm gonna buy what I can get, and if it's there, great. Not whatever. I, on the other hand, have gone to great lengths to get the exact specific version of a fragrance that I want. So you're looking at like basically two opposite views on the issue here. But that is a tough one. That's a personal choice I think you're going to have to make. Anutamam. There may be some shills in the chat. Oh, I'm sure they're watching in the background. So you got to stretch those minutes out for the bag. I like when Max Forte gives a rating after 5 seconds. There's someone that may be on the next video. Stay tuned.
He lost my number.
Yeah, I bet. It was definitely needed. I see a lot of them tried to get out there and act right as fast as the next day. That's awesome.
I don't believe that, but sure. I don't think they would change their ways.
Curly and Gang is now busy promoting Supers Budapest. I have no clue what that is. Do you?
No.
Thanks for the sub. Argos. Is that like Argos the brand? Thanks for the sub.
Maybe.
I don't understand why people are coming after Mark for talking about Cuba's chains, but not after Cuba for talking about his effing balls in all of his videos. Budapest is in every top 10. It must be a fragrance house. I've never heard of this Budapest.
I don't think you want to.
I don't think so either from hearing that. What is your advice regarding quality versus quantity in your collection? That's actually a really good question.
It all depends on you, I think. Look at me. Quantity, there's a lot of quality back there. There's a lot of junk probably. Ram would love to claim a lot of the stuff that's there. But you know what all that is a lot of it has, a story behind it. A lot of it. Not all of it, but a lot of it does. Even things like Lamal that people think is trash has a story behind it. So it all depends on you. Just because you have a lot doesn't mean it's not quality, right? But in the fragrance game, honestly, you don't need hundreds. You don't need 50. 5 will do. But it all depends on what you're in it for.
What you want out of it, exactly.
Yeah. Like for a guy like me and Ram, we like to discover. Like for me, like all these bottles here, a lot of these are blind buys, and it's discovery, right? Like these are all brands that I know and love, parfumiers that I know and love, all from different places, different years and things like that. And some are from brand new brands. Like I'm discovering Celine for the first time. This is a discovery set. I just blind bought. Yeah, I just blind bought. Black ties right here.
I was not a fan personally.
No,
but I have. Yeah, I've got very specific tastes. I was a little disappointed. I thought the brand was pretty boring, but some people said I had no taste because I didn't like them. So maybe you'll love them. I'm 20 years old. Grew a passion while being a beginner. Any recommendations? My recommendation is just to smell as much as you can. Don't commit to full bottles unless you're 100% sure, and sample the shit out of everything. Yep. Go everywhere. Don't hold 100%. Back.
Yeah.
Don't hold back.
And don't throw away the stuff that you don't like, because your nose is going to change, especially when you're a beginner. That's one thing that a lot of people, like throughout my years, I've never thrown a sample. I've kept it. I haven't given it away. I'm not trading it away. But you'll maybe throw away or give away a gem, like something that you'll love forever.
Yeah. Don't do that with a bottle either. Don't smell it and be like, not for me, and sell it immediately.
Yep.
Keep it. Revisit it in 3 or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You said your video crashed, fragcom. They were acting different because of it.
All caps.
You guys are the only hope. You guys are the only hope. All designers these days are vanilla and ambroxan. Mark, what are your thoughts on when Steven from Adolescence and Carlos from Brooklyn Fragrance Lovers sold out to the brands?
Roses.
You start doing live.
Like
It's
I
been
was,
a
I was
while.
telling, yeah, I've been telling Ram like it's been a while. Ma poule
Poutine. What's the
mouillée,
best poutine?
la poule mouillée. That guy's from Montreal for sure.
I do like I like my animalics. Oud. Oud is not dead. Oud is not dead. Early generation of reviewers was great. Ajmal has some good starting. If you're a starter, Ajmal has some amazing ouds at good prices. If you just want to get a feel,
That sounds like a clone brand name.
it does, but it's not. So
Hmm.
Ajmal, they're actually, I think, one of the largest owners of plantation oud trees in the world. So like you could get something like this for, oh man, I don't know. I mean, I think I got this for $30. You can probably find it at discounters for $100. Mukhalet
Dude,
Al Shams.
even the bottle looks like a clone brand bottle.
It looks like it, but it's not. It's a
Okay. I trust you,
trust
but
me.
I'm giving
Trust
I'm
the
giving you
Ram.
that side eye a little bit, like Ram.
Trust the Ram. Trust. Actually, for folks who are like, man, I really want to try an oud, but I don't want to buy the night. I would recommend trying this first. This will get you like in the ballpark at least without spending $1,000.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, yeah. There was a great reviewer named Dan Fors who was pretty good. He's gone somewhere though. I don't know that one.
Yeah.
I would just start buying samples. It's called tone policing. Tone policing? I've never heard that term, RXL.
Oh,
Never heard that.
I've been tone policed to death.
Yes. All right, let's see. Where are we? Parfum d'Empire and Nikolai are still fighting the good fight. Yeah, those are good. Those are good
Correct.
niche houses.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Only recently familiar with your channel.
I'm telling you, Ram, I'm underground, bro. Like that's what I am now. Look at my views. 300, 500.
The name of the game is capitalism. Thoughts on Max Forte and Chaos Fragrances? Pass.
Yeah, the prices, yeah.
Really appreciate the honesty. Thank you, man. Thank you. Trying to get to the part where they start talking about the vintage fragrances, but damn, I'm scrolling. Can't wait for your Queer Moresque review. I need to review it as well. We should.
I'm looking forward to that.
We should review. We should both drop our reviews, our Queer Moresque reviews on the same day. What's the oldest bottle in your collection? Oh man, I have no idea. Probably something from the 40s. Maybe a
Really?
Lanvin or something.
Wow. Oh yeah. Well, you're a vintage hunter, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 7 minutes behind. Do you think a masculine cherry scent is possible?
I'm 7 minutes behind. Yes, a masculine cherry scent is possible. Definitely.
You like Lost Cherry, right?
Yeah. It's got that, boozy cherry. Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna skip. So to the comments I'm skipping, I apologize. That sounds like a serious comment. Talking about his idea about exploring the senses and fragrances, fulfilling that idea. Would you expand on your philosophy and why is that? Damn, that's a serious interview question there, buddy.
That's for another live stream.
It's for another live stream. We got to skip. Ah, Furyo. That's a good shout. Have you smelled Furyo?
No.
Okay, that's going on the list.
Like Bogart Puram was my first.
Yeah, Furyo.
Which was a good scent.
Have you smelled Dolce & Gabbana by Man?
Yep, on a bottle.
Okay. Have you smelled Hugo Boss #1?
No.
You have not smelled Hugo Boss #1?
A lot of those first editions, I have not. Like Calvin from Calvin Klein and the first ones, right? A lot of those brands. Send him some creeds from
From Jesus's time.
Mike's on fire, eh?
He's always on fire. This is his job. He's in there he's just stirring. Ooh, Monogram. If I had a bottle of Monogram, I would totally send you a bottle of Monogram. What about oh man, what about Eigner's Super Fragrance from 78? Have you smelled this?
No.
Fuck, there's nothing left in that.
I guess I'm not getting it.
Nothing left in that one. How about Halston Z14?
Feel like I've smelt a Halston, but I don't remember. It was like a brown bottle.
Yeah, it looks like a blood. It looks like a blood cell.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that one. It's somewhere in the collection.
Have you smelled Van Cleef & Arpels Pour Homme?
I have not.
Have you smelled Lagerfeld Cologne?
Lagerfeld. I've smelt a Lagerfeld. I don't remember which one though. It was a cheapie.
Yeah, did it look like this?
Yes.
Okay. So you've
No, I bought that one.
Okay,
you
have it.
Yeah, I have it though.
All right, you're in for a treat there. That's a good one. That's a good one. Have you smelled Casual Friday?
I have not.
All right, that's the one that I think is the. That's the one that I think is the improved upon, let's say, Le Mans DNA. Like I would rather wear Casual Friday than Le Mans. I hate Le Mans, but I like Casual Friday. Yes.
You know, I've seen that bottle a lot. That Casual Friday. I always thought Escada was like the fruity fragrance brand. You know how fruity fragrances, a lot of them.
I think they were seen as cheaper back in the day. So they tried,
Yeah.
they were a little cheaper cost wise, but they've done some amazing scents and they're very time specific. Like for example, Casual Friday came out just a couple years after Le Mans. And it was, you know, obviously they were paying attention to what was going on back then, right? And you know, Escada Pour Homme, which is probably my favorite Escada, came out a year after Guerlain's Heritage, and again, they were probably paying attention. So, but they discontinued their entire men's line, the whole thing. They just chopped the whole thing. So they still do women's fragrances that are for.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah,
they discontinued the whole men's line. So you haven't smelled either of these Escadas, right?
No.
Okay. Escada Pour Homme.
This list is getting huge now.
Well, I'm going to see how many samples I have, and then we'll see. It'll be a surprise. Let's see if anyone else had some awesome recommendations. You smell Polo Green, obviously, right? The original Polo. Okay. Have you smelled Daniel Hector's Character from '89?
Never heard of it.
Okay. Character. What about like the women's Guerlains like Shalimar, Mitsuko?
I knew you sent me a whole bunch.
He did?
They're in the queue. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Awesome.
So
Versace. Yes. Versace versus?
Nope.
Azure. Have you smelled Azure?
I don't even know what that is.
That is a Bernard Chant creation. So he did a lot of the Aramis fragrances from he did the original Aramis.
Well, that looks dark.
Oh, this is fantastic. This is probably one of the best fragrances money can buy. It's a leather Chypre.
Oh man.
It's very, I like it better than the original Aramis. It is like, if you want to smell what the vintage materials really used to do to a composition, the real oak moss, the old school sandalwoods and all that stuff. And this is marketed towards women. and it might be the most masculine fragrance you'll smell all year. It is phenomenal.
You're opening up the rabbit hole, aren't you?
Probably, but worst case scenario, we can kick the shit on these when I join your channel next time. Yeah, we can kick the shit on these. Let's see, just if there's any other hardcore vintages that I'm leaving out, that would be good. Thanks for the super sticker, man. Appreciate that.
Super sticker.
Super sticker.
What is that?
It's
You get a
a
sticker.
thing.
Huh.
It's a thing. What's going on with Amouage?
You don't want to know.
I watched a guy in Spain saying they're in conversation with potential bidders. Apparently, L'Oreal is looking to invest, is what I hear.
Yeah, I think they leaked that because I think they have other bidders.
Yeah.
Trying to drive the price up. It's going to sell. It's going to sell.
And so the guy they brought in to replace Chong did his job. Apparently, sales are good.
Yep, he's going to get he's going to get a big bonus, and then the new guys are going to come in and just clean house.
Yep. Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. You've smelled Abbey Rouge and Heritage and all that stuff, right? The Guerlain you smelled. You're so far behind. I'm not sure if this is Ramsey on Robes' channel reviewing Ramsey's decants. Oh man. All right, let's see. Oscar de la Renta pour Louis.
No.
All right. I think we have a pretty good size list here.
I sound like a newbie now.
I mean, it's a different world, like you said. It's a different rabbit hole, man. Have you smelled Czar by Van Cleef and Arpels?
Nope.
Okay.
It's always been on the list, though.
Czar. All right, let's see what I can do. Let me see what I can do, man.
The Ram.
Let me see. I think that'll make for a good part 2 of this, dude. We've been going at it for 2 hours.
That's it.
We've been going at it for 2 hours, man. What about Leonard Porhomme?
Nope.
Nope.
A lot of nopes.
That's all right. I mean, this may be, you may get a lot more joy out of this than the stuff you've been working on, is my guess.
I think that's obvious, Ram.
I mean, I think you'll enjoy some of these a lot, man. How about Ocean Rain by Mario Valentino?
Ooh, nope.
No? Okay. All right. Well, I got a list, man. That's a hell of a list. Either way, we'll see what I can do. We'll see what I can do. Well, this has been a hell of a stream, man. I'm not gonna lie. This has been a hell of a stream.
Yeah. Hopefully you're gonna get the 10K though. That's what I want to see.
It'll happen. It'll happen when it happens. I got a list video lined up when we get to 10K.
Oh yeah.
I got a 10K celebration video lined up, so I'm just waiting to get there, and then we'll do it.
Big boy video.
Big boy video. We always celebrate. So yeah, this was a fantastic stream. Frag Central says 2 more hours.
You'd have to pump some coffee through my veins.
How about Gucci Nobile?
Nope.
That is like the fougere,
ooh,
the definition of a classic fougere.
I like the sound of that.
Is Gucci Nobile. That's good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. This has been awesome, dude.
No worries.
I've loved the chat. The chat's been awesome, even though I had to skip a bunch of people and get down to the bottom.
Yeah, that sucks. We talked too much.
We did, but it was good. I thought it was good content. We covered a lot of ground today. I'll tell you that. We'll see the clips We'll see the clips that get taken out of this. But no, I appreciate you coming on. I think it's been a blast. Hope the chat had a good. Thank you to the chat. Frag Central says I should do my top 10 panty dropper video when I hit 10K. So filmed in my
tidy whities,
Jeremy style. So this was awesome, man. So I appreciate you coming on, brother, and thanks to the chat. And like I said, round 2 will be on Marc's channel. So
that's right.
We'll reciprocate and we'll make it happen before the end of the year. So I'll get these decants out to him and we'll go from there. So thanks for being here with us, guys. Cheers, everyone.
See you later.
Peace.